Okay. Poe. We gotta do the library. This is gonna hurt, ain't it? No, actually, we're fine. I'm trying to decide. Well, we want to grab this. Oh, actually, really quick. I'm gonna quit out. I forgot. After the end of the last run, we gotta power up. Gotta grab armor. And one in growth. There we go. Those are probably gonna help. Okay, inlay library, and we're good. Let's see if this works. Interestingly enough, the Banshees aren't as bad, specifically because, let's see. Do I want the whip? Yeah, we want the whip. Can Pentagram kill the Reaper guy? I don't think so, because Pentagram, let's see. Because Pentagram can't kill the last... Not the Grim Reaper. It can't kill the previous boss either. A lot of room to maneuver between good vibes only and brutal honesty on sponsored streams. Yeah, I've definitely had a couple... Okay, so we're gonna go back to the last episode's topic just for a little bit. I try to keep them separate. But on the topic of, like, critique versus being rude over something. Ugh. Not being able to move is actually painful. And we are going to have to get the empty tome here, because I can't go and get it. Yeah, the magnet's going to be necessary, otherwise we're in trouble. And I might just die on this. Porta is better for this challenge. The problem is he still levels up fast enough that the cooldown reduction goes away, which could be an issue. Garlic upgrade might have been a mistake because of the range. That's a good point. But yeah, one of the most valuable returns on doing proper art course is learning how to critique versus criticize. Yes! Constructive criticism is really hard to do. And a lot of people don't actually have the capability of even, like, responding to that well, even if it is good constructive criticism. So I went to art school and tried my best to always give, like, really constructive criticism, and I got harangued for it not infrequently from a lot of people, because in a lot of cases people don't want to hear criticism. They actually find it quite offensive, because how dare you question them. Do it? Yeah, we want Big Bird. But yeah, it is difficult to give good criticism, even if you're trying. And oftentimes a lot of criticism is just, this is bad and it doesn't really help. Or a lot of the criticism isn't that helpful. I don't know. What am I thinking? Criticism and whatnot. So one thing I've found as kind of a content creator is that actually a lot of people don't like constructive criticism. And so I've been trying to, like, kind of roll back on it. Not in terms of, like, not in terms of, like, I don't want to help developers, but, I've noticed a lot of people, when I will be giving constructive criticism, talking about, like, this doesn't work or not. Oh gosh, this mummy might just kill me. Or we're good. Okay. The whip is keeping him slightly at bay. Never mind, I'm dead. We needed the attract orb. If we can't get that attract orb, we're sunk. Okay. I could give Porta a shot. We'll see if he's any good. So here's the issue with Porta. This is hilarious, but I'm never gonna get any of that stuff. We can't do it. We got to do Poe. Poe is the only one that can pull this off. Maybe damage whip guy. But even then, I think he'd have some issues. Let's see, ebony wings. I don't want to get the garlic upgrade because it is actually going to screw me. We have to wait until we get... we have to wait until we get the attract orb. Otherwise, I'm in trouble. So how did I learn how to take constructive criticism? I think there's a couple of different ways that I could describe this, and some are good, some are not. So part of it is, you have to realize that anybody giving you constructive criticism is not actually trying to attack you as a person. Oh, here. I'm not going to cheat a bit. I'm going to move down. I moved a little, but shush. I guess I gotta get the garlic here. If I'm down, the enemies are gonna be coming at me from only a couple of directions. But it should mean the whip doesn't screw me over as much. So we'll go with this. And my reception to constructive criticism varies day to day, which isn't a good thing, and it's personally a flaw. No, I think it's actually very human. But I think it's also, it depends. There's a time and place for everything. So let's see, do we get, I mean, I guess I already have the ebony wings. I don't think we want, yeah, let's just go with that, because if I can get the, let's see. If I can get maximum pigeon, then everything just kind of becomes goof. But one of the first things I realized about constructive criticism is it should not be given unless the person is actively looking for it. I would love to sit down and like go over like, hey, this needs to be changed, or like this is a problem, or you need to really consider doing this or that. The problem is a lot of people don't want that. You know, if I'm just kind of chilling and enjoying Vampire Survivors, and then somebody's like, you need to go get the book to the left. You know, it's not really appreciated because, well, I'm going to go get it when I'm maxed out. Or I'm doing a challenge run and can't. Oh gosh, what was it? I was playing something, Forager. Back when I was playing Forager, I specifically was, there's the Bibble. Back when I was playing Forager, I specifically would get comments from people telling me I had to use the lighthouse. And I specifically was doing a challenge where there's no lighthouse run. And while they were correct that the lighthouse would make my run better, it didn't actually help me because it wasn't appreciated. It wasn't what I was looking for, and it wasn't going to help me. And so I kept getting these comments being like, no, you need to do this thing. And it was frustrating to me because I didn't want it. It was not the time nor the place to tell me to do this stuff. And that, you know, people were very relentless about telling me like, hey, you need to do this thing. That was the series plagued by dangerously funny fans, wasn't it? Yup. Ouch. We really need that attractor, but otherwise we just die. I still think going to the bottom is better. Especially if we're using the whip. Yeah, I remember it got so bad that you had to blacklist the word yup. It was really frustrating. But aren't your friends important? And if they annoy you, they might not have prepped them correctly. Did you have a no backseating tag up? Yeah, oftentimes. Maybe not always. But here's the thing. Why should I be the one to first tell a person not to cross my boundaries? Like, fans are important, but I want my fans to be people that respect me as a person, not just as an entertainment machine. And so, I don't feel like I need to have like what's a good example? Let's say a do not antagonize me stream, or a stream tag. You know, do not antagonize me. Do I need to put that up? I don't think I should. I think it should be kind of baseline common knowledge of like, actually, we do want the hollow heart if I want to get the whip. If I get the whip. I might not get the whip. Let's see, and they might not know what those boundaries are. But that's the thing, though. Like, I feel there's a number of things that you can kind of look at with a person and kind of sound out what their boundaries are as, like, kind of a normal person. Like, I feel like on Twitch, it's better to assume they don't want backseating first because a lot of people don't. And that, you know, the default should not be backseat me. No, the default should very much be, hey, I don't like backseating, and if I like it, then I will ask for it. And so when people specifically roll in, you know, backseating me without ascertaining first, it comes off as rude, much like, I mean, attract orb, there we go. Imagine somebody offers you a cupcake. You don't eat the cupcake and then say, man, you really should have used, you know, blueberries instead of boysenberries on this cupcake. No, like, that's weird. And so, yeah, seen a few streamers that allow backseating. I actually know quite a number that do. And it works really well for them, but I'm not one of those people. But I shouldn't have to be the one to say, hey, don't backseat me, because how many people do I have to tell no backseating? Well, the answer is actually almost everyone, and the frustration is, it doesn't... I can say no backseating every 5 minutes, and I guarantee you there's going to be somebody that sneaks in and starts backseating me. And so, well, I realize that, like, people might not be my audience members. The decorum should still be learn the rules before you come in. Gosh, what'd I say? It's like speed limits. You don't roll down a road at 90 miles an hour because you haven't seen a speed limit in, like, you know, a couple hours. Maybe you're just not looking, but chances are there's a speed limit posted somewhere and you just weren't looking. Or maybe there is no speed limit, but you still don't go 90 miles an hour. Turn your character to the right. That's his good side. All right. Anyway, so that's kind of my view with stuff like backseating, is that, like, I try very, very, very hard to communicate, like, hey, don't backseat me. I don't really like it. But often when I do, and I try very hard to specifically say, like, hey, I really do not like being backseated. It actually makes me feel quite uncomfortable. I get a lot of people that get really mad at me, and very defensively so. And here's time for me to die. Yeah, that sucker. This is rough. Maybe we need to get the wand. Ow. That one hurt. Pishon, shoot. But so, kind of like constructive criticism and a couple other things that, like, I try not to talk about these things too much because people actually get, like, really mad when I'm being, giving, like, constructive criticism. Or if I'm saying, like, hey, don't backseat me, because people will, like, jump on me for that. Even to some degree within this conversation, I feel like I'm having to defend my own boundaries here. And also my lack of a desire to specifically actively enforce those boundaries constantly. Because I don't know, maybe it's just kind of a me thing, but I am a terrible backseater, which is why I actively go out of my way to not do it and try very, very, very hard to, like, watch everything that I say, because I'm terrified of backseating somebody because I know it's rude. And, like, I just want to help people out. I know it. But I know that if I do it, it's going to offend somebody. And so, yeah, it should really be this kind of common courtesy when it comes to backseating of, you don't do it unless the person is asking for help or something like that. So as a streamer, what kinds of constructive criticism would you give a backseating gamer? I mean, frankly, just see what the vibe of chat always is first. If people are telling the person what to do and they're responding, if the streamer is actually responding to the backseating in a positive manner, you know, responding to it, possibly reading it out loud, saying thank you, I didn't know, stuff like that. If that is part of the dialogue, then you know that that streamer likely is looking or appreciative of backseating, or looking for or appreciative of backseating, because there is that kind of baseline dialogue of like, this is somewhat a desired interplay with them. Whereas if it's someone like me who doesn't like it that much, you might notice that I don't respond to most people telling me, hey, did you know there's a book to the left? Yes, but it's not, let's grab the duplicator. I do know, but it's not something I want to bring up because I'm going to have to bring it up constantly. I'm going to have to repeat myself endlessly. And I made a whole video on this, honestly, if you want to check Wanderbot Prime on like why backseating bothers me so much. But the constant repetition, especially for games that I'm quite well versed in. Like I'm one of the first streamers to have ever streamed this game. Just baseline. Yeah, that's the video right there. Thanks, Rage Age. But so, you know, when people come in trying to inform me of stuff on this game, like, unless it's something that just got added today, it's rarely that I already know about it to some degree. Let's see. You're a streamer, isn't repeating how you feel part of what you do? But I don't want it to be. I very much want things to feel unique and fresh and interesting for me. I actually get quite burnt out. I think the wand is the secret. Yeah, he can't get close. Yes. All right, we're good. And I'm not trying to do this to chastise people. It's just very much like, you know, I might as well, seeing as we're here, I might as well talk about it a little bit. Oh, that chest is going to be unfortunate. But so, like, for me, I want to be talking about cool and interesting topics. I don't want to be constantly enforcing my boundaries. What's a good example? I mean, let's flip the script. Let's take away backseating for a second and to talk about a different thing. So different scenario. Instead of backseating, let's just go with your chat is kind of rambunctious. They like to take the piss out of each other and they're kind of rude. Or, I mean, actually, so much as back in the day when I streamed on YouTube specifically. When I was streaming on YouTube, there was a small but very dedicated population of people that really like to do RP, roleplay. And they like to roleplay a variety of things. And I just kind of let them do it because whatever, it's harmless. And then it slowly became not harmless. Like, it started getting really creepy and uncomfortable in a bad way. And what ended up happening was that, like, it was becoming, like, overtly sexual in nature. Yeah, I'm not getting EXP anymore, which is a little spooky. But it was starting to become, like, overtly sexual in a bad way. And that... Oh... Reach the on-screen EXP limit. I'm not gaining anymore, I think. Oh no! I didn't realize there's a maximum limit, so I can't gain EXP because it's all outside of my reach and I can't get it because I don't have the attract orb. Well, alright. I said I wasn't going to move. Apparently this is a thing. You really need the attract orb early, otherwise you are skunks. Well, we'll make it as long as I can all the same. That YouTube RP thing definitely happened before I came by. I nipped it in the bud somewhat quickly, to be honest. But like, it was definitely like very much not acceptable territory in terms of like what was being discussed and how people were reacting to it. And so eventually I had to shut that down like in a very big way. And, you know, eventually I just banned the whole thing. And I didn't want to have to sit there constantly babysitting these people saying, don't be creepy about RP. You know, don't be creepy about this. It's not my job, and it's not something that I want to do. Same other vein, actually. Let's move away from RP a little bit, because I think people use that to kind of besmirch somebody's favorite hobby. But yes, there are weird people in many different hobbies. Some maybe more than others, but instead of, you know, just being like, all RPers are weird, and I've run into some really freaking weird people playing D&D, but I don't generalize based off of it. I just think exuberance and finding a community that kind of accepts you makes you kind of take the mask off a little bit sometimes, and maybe not in a good way. But another one actually was, and maybe a better example now that I thought about it, is years ago I used to play Scrap Mechanic a lot, and Scrap Mechanic was, I mean, it was one of my favorite games and like one of my biggest series as a creator, and so I rather enjoyed covering it. But then one day I decided I didn't want to do it anymore. You know, I'd already lost some friends over the game, and it was boring. You know, I put 400 something episodes into the game, and it just was not interesting. And so I stopped playing, but I kept getting endless comments from people saying, where's Scrap Mechanic? Every video, every stream. Invariably, constantly happened, because there was this really passionate audience that really wanted Scrap Mechanic to be on my channel potentially forever. And I appreciated that. I appreciated the, what would I say? The passion behind the idea of me playing Scrap Mechanic, but at the same time, I couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't. I couldn't bring myself to play it. I just wasn't having fun, and I wasn't going to enjoy, I was not going to enjoy playing it anymore. How am I not dead? I haven't leveled up in a long time. But so it was just this like really pervasive thing that I just could not escape. And so I eventually just straight up banned the words Scrap Mechanic, because I could not keep answering where's Scrap Mechanic. It just wasn't fun. And so it's kind of the same thing as like backseating or repeating myself or managing chat, that I don't want to be this kind of weird policeman babysitter for my own audience. And I don't want to like have my moderators have to be on deck at all times specifically to do that. And so when it comes to like managing things and whatnot, like repeating myself as part of my job, I think it is inevitable, but repeating it to the point of being, oh god, this is probably what kills me. Is it not? Man, what the hell? I have like nothing in this build. I've killed 4,000 things and I'm still not dead yet. What the heck? Why not make a command, Scrap Mechanic? I did. I did everything I possibly could. Save for putting in the title, no more Scrap Mechanic, which would have just brought it back. But, like, it didn't matter. Nothing I did would have stopped the people from asking. I might live for 10 minutes, we will see. Oh, it's because all of those armor upgrades that I've picked up, probably. Because these things are pretty weak and don't do a lot of damage, so they're probably not melting me, because they're only doing 1 damage per hit. Statue OP, what the heck? So, once again, for the backseating thing, watch my video on it. Like, that's really the best way to put it beyond anything else, is just that, like, I made a whole like, what is it, 15-20 minute video essay talking about why backseating drives me nutty. There we go. I'm freaking dead. It's fine. Whip was shockingly the winner there, and also probably the main reason why I wasn't getting EXP. Let's try that again. Because, like, it's very clear if I could get a good attract orb, then I'm great. I just need to get the attract orb. Or we get the whip. It's like Breath of the Wild. He was literally wielding the Master Sword, and new people would come in and tell him how to get it. Yup. That was persistently wild to me that was such a big issue. I think if I just get really lucky with the attract orb, you know, just get like 2 instances of it pretty quickly, I think we're golden. Right. I guess the other thing I could think of specifically with not wanting to repeat myself, I never quite enjoy, with games like this, actually, this is probably a good example. You know, running with the rainbow pigeon, and every time I get it on a run, or maybe every couple of minutes, get somebody that hasn't seen the rainbow pigeon, I think I'm in trouble. Yeah, reset till it's your first upgrade? I might have to. If it isn't my next upgrade, then yeah, we're resetting. Yeah, the whip is really hurting me. But I can't do anything about it. Unless, yeah, we reset until we get what we're looking for. It gets worse, too. And then as soon as we hit that entity limit on the amount of EXP, I think I can get up to level 8 before they stop spawning. But then after that is bad. So yeah, if we can't get the attract orb now, then we're not getting it. Alright, let's just reboot. But just to finish my example, you know, the idea of the rainbow pigeon and everybody not knowing what the rainbow pigeon is, the immediate problem with that is that I have to keep explaining what the rainbow pigeon is kind of endlessly. Which isn't, like, strictly terrible. But, you know, if I have to do it, like, 10 times in a night, it's no longer fun anymore. And I could make a command, but the problem with stuff like commands and timers and whatnot is, if somebody's not paying attention, then no amount of commands, timers, or other, like, visual warnings for somebody will actually, like, make a difference. That was a good example. I mean, one of the wild things for me is I will get somebody asking a question like, you know, why don't you do so-and-so? Why don't you do so-and-so? Why don't you do so-and-so? And it's, you know, it's fine to some degree. You know, maybe they just don't know. To grab the hollow heart, sure. But the thing that always gets my goat the most with that kind of scenario is I will answer some people. You know, they'll ask and be like, okay, why don't you do so-and-so? And I finally am like, all right, fine, I'll just answer. You know, clearly it's not self-explanatory enough. Explanatory. You know, I'll sit down and give a proper answer just because. And then 5 minutes later, they'll ask the same question. And I'm like, didn't you hear me the first time? And they're like, no, I wasn't paying attention. So I answer the question. And then they ask again. Like, I have very specific memories of this happening, and it's just like, do I spell shit? This sucks. The biggest problem with the statue build is that, like, RNG can absolutely just hand you trash and expect you to like it. Then again, Rune Tracer is good if we're going for the book, so it's not that big of a deal. Or Rune Tracer, Spellbinder. On the plus side, not going with the whip seems to have worked out pretty well for me. As they're not getting killed too far away at the very least. Have you done a challenge of just walking in one direction? Yeah, it's not really that interesting. I haven't actually, like, specifically done that challenge. I could. We're not gonna find the attract orb, like, ever. The wall gold and chicken stuff is what I always think of when talking about backseating. Oh, God. I'd forgotten about wall gold. That was definitely one of those where it was just, like, kind of this weird, intrusive, and unwelcome experience. Specifically playing, Undermine. And the game would have treasure in the walls. Oh. I bumped my controller. Whatever. I barely moved. But specifically, well, there's the duplicator. There we go. Now I'm kind of right back on track. I'll take a little bit of EXP. Shh, didn't happen. Statue sneezed. But yeah, so I'd miss wall gold. And I'd just get endless amounts of people being very mad at me for missing it. And it's like a couple bucks in game, but it was just suddenly this deal breaker for so many people that I wasn't seeing it. And they were quite mad about it. And that it was, yeah, it was actually pretty onerous to be kind of subjected to that as, oh yeah, I am dead. Being subject to that was like a very negative experience because people were just kind of uncomfortably, people were very uncomfortably rude about my inability to see these things. There's also the missed X that you get earlier later in episodes. Yup. But like, if a streamer ever has like kind of a weird issue with something or other, almost always I guarantee it's because somebody ruined it for them. Like invariably so. I've gotten a lot of comments on my Rogue Tower video, and I'm actually probably gonna have to talk about this when I play that next, probably tomorrow. But so my buddy Rito played Rogue Tower as well, and I think his video preceded mine by like a couple of days. But I noticed I was getting a lot of comments from people being like, you know, wow, you're so good at this game. The other people I watched play this, like, only got to wave 12 and then gave up after only getting, like, one tower. They didn't really get it or anything like that. It was actually, like, really kind of mean. Like, little snipey comments talking about how bad this other creator was in comparison to me. And I didn't immediately put two and two together until somebody else had mentioned that, like, boy, people were really mean to Rito. And I realized, oh, they're talking about Rito. And I'm freaking mad about it still. I might actually want to pick up armor for this build, maybe. But I'm still mad about it because it's just like, it's super not cool for people to like go to another creator and compare them or like drag them into something, a negative experience or a negative opinion or something like that. And I was kind of upset that, yeah, somebody would come to my video to complain about anybody, but especially so with like a friend of mine. And like, at this point we're comparing notes a little bit. So if somebody like is talking smack about me in Rito's comments, we'll just both ban them. Cause why not? Cause it's like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like if you don't like a person and how they do things, like, okay, that's fine. But when it's going to like another channel to talk smack about the first, it's like, oh no, don't do that. We're not gonna find this attract orb. At least not going whip seems to make getting EXP a little bit more possible. Like I get a lot of bad comments, but the ones that are always taking the piss out of somebody else are the ones that offend me the most because it's just, thank you. Alright, we just need like a bunch more. Cross-channel smack talk has weirdly been getting worse the past year or so from my experience. I think it's because drama meta, and I'm gonna say very much this is a Twitch-driven thing, possibly. That I don't want this yet. I don't want this yet. We'll go with this. So specifically, I was reading about. Was it the? I don't know. I'm sure if you guys follow drama more than I do, you know who it was. But there were a couple of channels that were reacting to each other left and right over some controversy, and you know, I'm sure the controversy was actually like controversial enough to be worth reacting over. But just I don't give a shit. Never mind, I got melted. I needed those extra levels in garlic, but I was holding off on them because I was trying to get EXP. I should give this another shot in a couple of patches and see how doable it is. I think the whip, you need the whip and the wand, but I need the attract orb before I can do anything else. Wow, these are trash. Like, I could go for the Santa water, but it's actively bad for me. Let's just start over until we can... Here. I'm gonna cheat a bit. Let's save me some time. I'm gonna go get that, that green gem every single time. At least until this becomes a little bit more doable.